What's going on, YouTube? This is Jim Mafanis, and today I want to talk to you guys about review biasing. Now, this topic comes up every single day for every single video game launch. And before I even deep dive it, you have to understand one simple fact. People who review games are people. And they are easily excitable like I am. They are easily swayed by things as I could be. I'll give you an example. You're at your buddy's house, hanging out, watching TV, and you see a preview for a video game. A commercial comes on, and they're telling you about the new great experience. And it's got a catchy background song to it. It's one of the new pop songs, and everybody's like tapping their feet to it. And suddenly, you realize, you turn to your buddy, and you realize you need this game. It's all you can think about. You don't know anything about it outside of that commercial, but you need it. I will tell you, I can still remember the Imagine Dragons song, Radioactive, coming on for the theme song of the commercials for the first season of Defiance. It was tied into the commercials for the MMO Defiance, and it was very well done in terms of the commercial. It really got you hyped up. You really wanted to play this game. I have played Defiance, the MMO. It's not that great, okay? Just like the TV show that got canceled. Rest in peace, my friend. You had potential, but it didn't work out. That's what I'm trying to get at. When you're at the PlayStation E3 experience and a game comes on the screen and the theater is full of people screaming their heads off and everybody's pulling out their phone and pre-ordering because they need that game. Reviewers are the same as anyone else. Just because they get to wear a badge that says IGN or Destructoid or Kotaku or whatever it happens to be, they're just the same as you and I. And unfortunately, they get swayed. I don't know if marketing has any stake in that. I know people say, of course it does. I'm not sure if that's true. I do believe there is journalistic integrity. Not much, but I do believe there is some. And I do believe if a game is legitimately bad, despite all the advertising dollars that went into it, you will ultimately come away reading that review, agreeing that the game is bad. They may not say it in so many words. It may not get a 1 out of 10 with an awful title. And the pros are like, I didn't kill myself. And the cons are like everything else. You may not get something that scathing, but it'll be very clear that the game just didn't do well. And it'll get like a high 5 or a low 6. And they'll say, oh, it's okay. But everyone secretly knows it's a piece of garbage. So this happens from time to time. And that's why I love sites like Angry Joe. That's why I love sites like Jim Sterling and the Jimquisition. I love what the guys at Kinda Funny Games are doing over there. It's much more organic of a review, and I feel it's much more genuine. They've broken away from that mainstream, and they really don't have to please anyone. They just speak their minds. And I find that a lot of those reviews are much more genuine than the IGNs and the Giant Bombs and the Destructoids of the world, because it's very hard to objectively shit all over Call of Duty 3 Black Ops on IGN, for example, when every goddamn link you click on their site has a full screen ad that you have to close to get to your article. Oh, and by the way, while you're reading your article, down each side of the screen is Call of Duty 3 advertisement. It's hard. It's hard to objectively pull that out. Why am I bringing this up now? Fallout 4. I am super stoked for Fallout 4. I'm so stoked for the Pip-Boy edition, I bought 2 because I was afraid my order would get canceled. So I have 2 separate Pip-Boys coming to my house tomorrow because I've been reading they're canceled. That's how much I want this game. That's how excited I am. And I have faith that Bethesda will eventually release a quality product. But right now, just like every other Bethesda game that has come out, it's a piece of shit. Go on Amazon.com, type in Jassafat if they let you do that. Or go to the Fallout 3, I'm sorry, not the Fallout 3, the Skyrim, Elder Scrolls V Skyrim PlayStation 3 review page on Amazon. Find Jassafat and read what I wrote about that game when it came out. Look at how many 1-star reviews for that game when it came out. I know you're not going to do it now. You might not ever do it, but I'll tell you. When Bethesda games launch, they suck. They have always sucked. They're poorly optimized. They're poorly executed. You get these game-breaking bugs. And that is the hot term right now that game reviewers are dancing around, and I don't know why. Other than they're people just like me, and they're super amped up for all the things Fallout 4 can do. Now, don't get me wrong. I know Fallout 4 is amazing. I understand the breadth and the depth of the world that it's been explained to me from the horse's mouth during E3. I've seen the gameplay the same as you all during Bethesda's E3 panel. I've listened in on all their websites, and I know kind of what's going on with that game, and I'm very excited for what it will be when it is done. But I promise you the version that the reviewers played is not done. Now, why don't they talk about some of these issues? I don't know. I've seen multiple videos from multiple websites showing how poorly optimized the game is, to the point that it flat out freezes for 3 to 5 seconds, and not a single person has mentioned it, and I don't know why. Now, what they do say is, well, you know Bethesda, their games suck ass when they come out, but don't worry, you know, they'll fix them later. And in between, too bad, right? That's unfortunate. Why are these games not being called out for that? Why is Fallout 4 not being called out for that? Because the phrasing they use is game-breaking bug. It's not game-breaking. The fact that your console freezes for 5 seconds, but eventually figures itself out, or that loading screens take twice as long as sometimes compared to other times, or that NPCs may fall through the map, or that your game may suddenly not save, that's not game-breaking because you can still play. So that's the wording they chose. And I think that is very deceitful, and I think that is hurtful to the customer. Now, the fans that are going to get it don't really care. Probably none of them are even reading the review. And if they are, they're scrolling way down to the bottom to see the number to say, it is Game of the Year over Metal Gear Solid 5. Or, it's got the same score as Metal Gear Solid 5. So that's Game of the Year. Let's go see what Witcher did. And that's what people do when they compare and contrast. And I don't care about you weenies. That's stupid. Game of the Year it doesn't matter. It means nothing to this individual title. What does matter is that game reviewers are honest. And I know, I get it, you're excited. You get to go behind the scenes. I know how you guys reviewed Metal Gear Solid 5, where you get to go sit in a special room, and they wine and dine you, and you get to sit there with all the other famous people in the industry, and you get to play for a week, and oh, look at me, you get to fly out to some fancy hotel, and eat out and all that kind of stuff. I get it, man. I've been there. Not on the game review side, but in my previous company and in previous jobs, we've all been there, where they're trying to sell you. There's bagels on the counter when you walk in, and how the hell you doing, Jim? It's nice to meet you. And come on in, we got a special corner office for you to set up shop, and anything you need, champ. That's what happens. And these game reviewers are like, hey, yeah, man, look at me. I'm VIP. I'm VIP, and this game ain't so bad. And then you get these reviews, and it's like, whoa. Oh, yeah, you forgot to mention that the game was bad because the game reviewer sitting next to you, he's got his arm around you going, hey, buddy, what do you think about my game? Have another croissant. That's probably a bit of an exaggeration, but don't deceive yourselves. This shit happens all the damn time. And all I wanted to do with this video and all I wanted to express was my concern to all you guys and IGNs and the Gameflies and I don't know, there's so many goddamn review sites anymore, I lose track. Kotaku, Giant Bomb, Destructoid, Jimquisition, Kind of Funny, any of them, all of them, Angry Joe. All you guys, please, be fair and honest. That's all we're asking. And I get it, you gotta eat. And I get it that if you shit all over a game, you might be cut out of the next review. And that's that risk reward. And that's that decision you have to make. When are you gonna make your stand? When are you gonna have your journalistic, shall I say, ethics? And say, no, we're not going to peddle this. Now, does that mean Fallout 4 isn't going to be amazing? Does that mean Fallout 4 probably won't be Game of the Year? Of course not. But why are you lying about stuff? Be honest. Tell us how bad the game is optimized. Don't dance around words. Don't sugarcoat the truth. Just be black and white. That's all we ask. Just do your job. And I know it's hard. It's hard to rate art. It's hard to be objective. People look around my room and say, that ugly-ass Diablo 3 autographed picture in the background. That's not art. Take that down. Well, to me, it's one of the most beautiful things that I own. Again, art. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So it's hard to objectively say this game should get a 3.4 instead of a 3.5 on graphics because X. I get it. But just be honest and don't sugarcoat things and tell us the way it is. That's all we ask. You guys are put in an amazing position where you get to go out and write reviews for games, get in on the cutting edge of things, see things before us, get closed door sessions. Don't abuse that power. And when I see this happening in the flesh and blood, when I see the ones and zeros, when the game crashes, when the game freezes, and it's absent from every single review you guys put out, and the only time you find it is people who are pissed off and go on Amazon and write nasty little emails at 2 a.m. and tank the game into 1-star oblivion. Or try to. That's sad, and it should not be that way. So, please, take a minute, think about what you're doing, think about the impact that you guys have, own up to the game, and be honest. That's all we can ask, okay? At least for me, I'm a huge gamer. I mean, a huge gamer, right? And I would appreciate it. I'm sure a lot of other people would too. And again, I know my videos don't get widespread across the whole world. I wish they would, at least for this message, because I want everyone to understand what's happening here. And it's not that I've had some epiphany and I see things that no one else does, but it's just simple. This is just simple facts. And just go back, reread all the reviews that you've read, critically think about what they're saying and how they're explaining things, and then really take a step back and ask yourselves, did they just swindle us? And the answer is, unfortunately, they probably did. And that sucks. What do you guys think about game reviews? Am I way off base on here? Let me know in the comments below. As always, I want to thank you guys for watching. And until next time, I will see you guys on the other side.